Hi, I'm Jesse Farrell, and I'm the manager here at Hub Comics in Union Square. Absolutely, yeah. I feel like Union Square is a fantastic community. I think we have lots of neighbors. I live in the neighborhood, and I can't kind of walk down the street without seeing like a dozen people I know and say hi to on a daily basis. Probably mostly young professionals in their late 20s and early 30s, but we also have a lot of families with kids and teenagers, high school students also. That's a great question. There was a Fantastic Four cartoon on when I was a little kid, and then I found out that there were Fantastic Four comic books at the 7-Eleven in Harvard Square on Mass Ave. They were so much richer and so much more interesting than what I was seeing on TV, and I love the characters already, but then just the comics just kind of broadened that out, and I was kind of hooked for life. And then I found out there were other kinds of comic books and other types of stories, and then here I am. Probably the animated movie Akira, which is based on the manga Akira, which was directed by the guy who created the manga, and they're two very different stories, but he adapted both, and they're great. The direct comic book market, which means that the comics that we buy directly, and it used to be that they were returnable, and you could return unsold product to the distributor and get a refund. And we can't do that anymore. That's a thing that has changed. So everything we buy and we keep. And this has been really good for the industry in a lot of ways, but it's on us to sell the material. That said, there is so much more material now. There are so many more great comics. The type of comics, the audience for comics has done nothing but grow. You can read comics in single issue format. You can read them in books. You can read them online, and it's just grown and been great. The guy who opened this shop, a man named James Wellborn, he lived in the neighborhood, and he just loved Union Square, and he had always wanted to open a comic shop, and he just loved the community and loved the feel of the neighborhood, and just thought this was a perfect location. We have we're a little bit more like a bookstore. We organize things here by genre rather than publisher. Most comic book stores, they'll be like Marvel, DC, Dark Horse, Image, and to us that doesn't really make a lot of sense, because most people who are reading comic books, they want a type of story. They don't necessarily want everything that Image publishes. That and kind of a knowledgeable staff that can recommend comics based on people's personal taste. Those jerks. Oh, great. I love my coworkers. They are the smartest, funniest, just best people to work with, and I have a blast every day. We usually work individual shifts, but then sometimes we're all here together, and it's great. It's like a party. It's wonderful. I don't know if I've got a crazy story. I mean, just so much as like the number of people I've met and the number of like friendships I've made, connections I made. I mean, I know people who've met here and gotten married, people who've found apartments, had kids, all just because they met here. When I think about all that, that's kind of what I think of. It's not real funny, but. Let me see, I'm primarily a sculptor, and you can find my work at jfsculpts.com, and I also do a little bit of cartooning, but not like some of the great cartoonists in the neighborhood, just more sidelines. Check us out at hubcomics.com and come into the shop and visit. We are open every day.
Great. Awesome.
Fantastic.
All right, thank you.
You're very welcome.